Well, hello. Welcome, everyone, to the Dragoon's Lair podcast. I am the Blue Dragoon himself, Daniel the Dragon. Welcome, everyone, back. Here's Mike this week, has returned triumphantly. And we have Jimmy back as usual. So now, this is our Black Friday Cyber Monday deal. So we're getting everybody ready for the holiday season.
And we're giving on Tuesday.
No, we're giving Sunday because this is Dragoon's Lair Sunday, where the latest episode will drop. And want to apologize for any technical issues we had on the previous episode. Mike, so how did rehearsal go last week?
It's getting there. We have a group of new people in the show. So they're getting it. The show is called Holmes, as in Sherlock Holmes, for the holidays. And we open on the 13th of December. We do this Friday, December 13th, Saturday the 14th, Sunday the 15th, and then the following Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Little Victory Theater. Friday, Saturday shows are at 8, and the Sunday shows are at 2. You can go to the Little Victory's website or showtix4u.com to get tickets. We're putting it all together. I have to go on Saturday to build the set, and they want one of the walls to revolve like the bookcase in Young Frankenstein. And I have no idea how I'm pulling that one off.
Magic.
Yeah, probably. But no, it's coming together. We got Tech Week coming up, which is going to be Hell Week.
As per usual.
But, we're pulling it together. The cast is finally, I say we're about 90% off book for the entire show. We're pulling it together. It's going to be a good show. All right. I got faith in this cast.
And this is going to be one of probably the last shows, or is there any chance?
Well, at first she was steadfast. This is it. We're done after December. And then we're like, okay. But then people are renting the theater out. And, so she hasn't said anything about it closing. So
there might be some hope.
There might be a little glimmer of hope. If not,
there's a light shining at the end of the tunnel.
It could be a light at the end of the tunnel. It could be just, the wind blows and she says, fuck it, I'm closing it. So,
yeah.
We'll talk to me in January. We'll see what happens.
Well, it's always a tragedy when a theater shuts down or a movie theater shuts down.
This place wasn't the biggest place on the island, but it was. We did a lot of big shows on a small stage. And, I really hope she changes her mind. She says she wants to talk to me and a few other people after the show. So don't know what she wants to talk about. But, hopefully we can work something out and keep the doors open.
Yep. And so everybody make sure, if you're interested and you're in the New York, New Jersey area, check out the show in December so that this way there's some hope that the theater can keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, a lot of people, when, she said she's going to close it, a lot of people got in touch with her. They're like, don't close it. We love this place. They even offered to give like a GoFundMe page to keep the doors open. So, there is a following. This theater has a following. It has a fan base. And, a lot of people rented out for a lot of different things. We had a dance company doing a recital in there last week. We had, the weekend before that, we had Elvis impersonator in there doing a show for Saturday, Sunday. Andre shot movies there. People shoot music videos there. So it's a versatile little place.
There you go. So now, we don't have any real WWE stuff because there hasn't been a PLE, whatever you want to fucking call it.
It's a pay-per-view.
Yeah. So
if you're paying to watch it, it's a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we do have we had an AEW event that you're going to cover, but I just want to hit one anime thing that's coming out in December. And it doesn't seem like a traditional anime, but it is anime, and it's the Lord of the Rings animated movie that's coming out.
I've seen posters for that on bus stops and everything.
There's the trailers online, the posters. This looks like it's going to be completely epic. And whether you're an anime fan or not, if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, this is something I would highly recommend checking out. Because...
No, what? It's the war for what? I want to say Rohan, but it's not Rohan.
No.
Something with an R.
Roran?
No, it's one of the early wars that takes place in the story.
Do they make reference in it in like the Lord of the Rings or the
It looks like they're
Hobbit?
yeah. It looks like the lore is so expansive that it's hard to really place. But I know, like, from the way this looks, this is one of like the earlier wars, but not like where we were at. What was that?
How would you pronounce that?
Rohan. Yeah.
Rohan?
Yeah.
War of Rowan.
Yeah, so this looks like it does look like it's going to be amazing, you know. Unfortunately, I'm not Christopher Lee, so I can't make those exact pronunciations where it's not Tolkien, it's Tolkien.
Tolkien.
You know,
Yes.
Christopher
My
Lee
favorite Christopher Lee story was when Jackson told him, you know, when he gets stabbed in the back, he was like, you know, scream. He goes, "That's not the sound somebody makes when they get stabbed in the back." And like, how do you know?
Yeah.
He goes, "I've done it." And he's like, Jackson's like, okay.
Yeah, Christopher Lee led probably
Lee,
one of the most amazing lives ever.
I mean, the man is the inspiration for fucking James Bond. His nephew is Ian Fleming.
Yeah, not only that, but I mean, like the history alone of him
Remember,
playing.
he was Scaramanga.
He was Scaramanga. He Charlemagne. He made into a metal album.
He is a Dracula.
He's done.
Yes,
He's
the
done.
Hammer
He did
Dracula.
just about everything that you could possibly do.
He even did a musical
Yep.
Yeah.
with Alan Arkin, which I want
Don't
to
point at me. Sorry, all I'm seeing is the nub just coming right at me.
I want to see the musical they did with Alan Arkin.
That would be pretty interesting to see. So
It's at my buddy Matt told me about it. I have yet to see it. I got to find it and get it.
yeah. So now for AEW, what was their pay-per-view?
Last Saturday, I believe it was. Yeah, it was Full Gear at the Prudential Center. I was there. It was a great show. Even 0 Hour, like the lead up to it, they had a great card.
Okay.
0 Hour, we had Big Boom AJ versus QT Marshall. And of course, Big Boom went over. We had Dante Martin versus the Beast Mortos versus Commander versus Buddy Matthews. And Buddy Matthews is a fucking beast.
Yep.
And he went over. But I just think it's funny.
Mommy's boy.
I think it's funny that the Beast Mortos, besides being an AEW wrestler, he's a lawyer.
Hey.
He's a lawyer, and his name is like I think James Mortos. So you can hire James Mortos to be your lawyer, and I wonder if he comes in with the full because his gimmick is like a minotaur. So I wonder if he comes in with like the headgear, which would be funny as hell. I mean, it would definitely intimidate
Mortos,
someone.
Attorney at Law, coming soon to Netflix.
Yeah, that's definitely what it sounds like, but it's true. We had Anna Jay versus Donna Pizarro and
Dina
Perazzo. Thank you, and Anna went over. So now let's jump into the main event itself. Full Gear, as soon as I get to it. Okay, here we go. We had a 4-way tag match for the championship. Private Party is the champions. It was Private Party defending against the House of Black, Aleister Black and Brody King.
Okay.
The Outrunners. And if you have not seen the Outrunners, these guys are like a throwback to 1980 tag teams.
Yeah.
Okay.
The music they come out with, the promos they cut, how they do stuff, like watching them, like they Hulk out. Like, I'm serious. One of them gets hit and he's like, no, and he goes nuts. And the way they do like their tag, is like the scene in Predator.
Oh God!
You son of a bitch! It's hysterical. Versus the Acclaimed. Private Party went over, but the seeds have already been planted of a Acclaimed breakup with Max Caster turning heel.
Okay.
So those seeds have been planted. It's going to be interesting to see these two break up. Both of them can hold their own as single wrestlers, but we'll see what happens. Here we go. Next match, we had Roderick Strong versus MJF.
Okay.
as usual, MJF started, he's in the ring, he's out of the ring, I'm walking away. Once the match really got going, these two men put on a hell of a match. The promos alone leading up to it was great. Anything that MJF did is great. It would have been a little bit better to have MJF versus Adam Cole because of all the history that they had, and it turned out that Cole was being the devil, but unfortunately he busted his ankle 10 ways from Sunday and actually needed a cadaver ankle put in because his ankle was. You think you had ankle problems? No,
I still have ankle problems.
Yeah, no, this guy had to have a cadaver ankle put in because they were like, yeah, there's nothing we can do.
Oof.
It's that or we cut your leg off. MJF actually submitted to Strong. So
really?
Yeah, but then afterwards, MJF beat the crap out of him again. So there was that. Then we had the TBS champion. We had Mercedes Moné versus Kris Statlander. Good match. Wasn't really. Moné wasn't dropping the belt to Statlander. Should have. Didn't happen. It was a good match. Wasn't anywhere. It wasn't like a holy shit match where you see a lot of high flying moves and a lot of oh my god moments. But bell to bell, a very solid, entertaining match. Then we had Hangman and Page versus Jay White. This new heel gimmick that Page is doing on the mark ever since he burnt down Swerve Strickland's childhood home, and he just sit in front of it with the house blazing behind him. He's sitting on the front lawn drinking whiskey. It was amazing.
Sometimes these storylines just
sometimes it's crazy
and
but
repetitive.
Yeah,
but you know what? It works. It's funny as hell. What are we gonna do? We're gonna see some man.
Gesundheit.
We're gonna see one person burn down another person's house.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see what you're gonna do with this. This is wrestling, and yet we're seeing arson. Yeah. Let's see what happens. But
yeah, let's just, as Simon Miller would say, let's bring down the crime counter.
Yeah, bring down the crime counter. But Simon Miller still would give us an up.
Yeah. Well, he's a positive Pete.
He's a positive Pete, and he is funny as hell.
Yep. Shout out to Simon Miller.
Simon, give us an up. White goes over on Page. B grade match. Very good. Then we had Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. Should have been the main event. In my opinion, this match should have been the main event. Both of these guys, one is a high flyer, another one is a ground and pounder. Both men like to leave their feet, like to leave the ground. Back and forth. We just seen, just so many moves back. At one point, it was just like boom, 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 back-to-back moves. Counter, 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 counter. I would have liked to listen to the commentary for that match, just to hear them go, fuck it, I'm just going to watch. Because it was just that quick. These men knew each other that well.
Yeah.
They knew what was coming next. They knew how to execute it. They had it down cold.
What's the phrase that they used to use? Texas catch can?
Yes.
Yeah.
This Fletcher goes over on Ospreay. Didn't exactly see that one coming.
Okay.
I thought Fletcher was going to drop it to Ospreay. Okay. Sets up rematches and everything else. This was an A+ match.
All right.
Next up this was the fluff part where it was your pee break. It was the champagne celebration with Mina Shirakawa, however you pronounce her name.
Shirakawa.
Thank you. No. And Mariah May.
Yeah.
It was a whole, this was basically, we gave you almost, counting 0 hour, almost 2.5 hours of straight match. Go get a popcorn, go take a piss.
Yeah.
Okay, so, Mariah May was up there. Oh, thank you, I have this. And she cracks the champagne bottle over...
she tried to.
She tried to over Mina, and the two of them end up Mina ends up spearing Mariah off the stage through a table, and that sets up the next fight between those two.
All right.
So, okay. It was basically what it was. It was fluff. It was your P match. In WWE, they would put it on as a women's match that had absolutely no business being there whatsoever. But with this, it's like, okay, I'm not missing anything.
Well, nowadays in WWE, it would probably, I would say, be a women's tag match.
Yeah. But, meh. That was the only meh moment. Now we have Jack Perry versus Daniel Garcia. Jack Perry is the TNT champion, while Daniel Garcia is, of course, the challenger. Again, from beginning to end, it was a great match. They did a video package from that past Wednesday because, Perry is still riding the scapegoat thing from when he had the fight with Punk. And from last week, they had Garcia ends up tying down Perry to the front of his little blacked out school bus.
Yeah.
And you see him driving away with Perry on the hood. And me and Danny, we were joking around. We were like, yeah, imagine if you just drove all the way through the Lincoln Tunnel with Perry on the hood. I go, that would have been awesome. Could have gotten to the HOV lane. But anyway, it was a great match beginning to end. Both of these men aren't really known for really doing that much high flying. So even though they kept it to the ground, it was a very technical match. It was a very entertaining match. Didn't last too long. Did it in the right amount of time. And we ended up having Daniel Garcia making Jack Perry tap out. And Garcia is your new TNT champion.
All right.
Okay, now we're moving on to another match that went, holy shit. People were flying literally all around the arena. Konosuke Takeshita, and I told Lynn because she was sitting next to me. I go, if you pronounce his last name the way it's spelled, it's Takeshita. So she thought, no, really, it's Takeshita. Takeshita. If you say it the way it's pronounced, the way it's spelled, it's Takeshita, and she thought that was his name, so she was calling him Takeshita. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna let that run for now. Versus Ricochet. These two men were all over the place. In the ring, out of the ring, on top of the ring, over the ring, through the ring, ropes didn't matter. They were flying through everything. Again, I got like whiplash following everybody, trying to go around. I spent more time watching the match on the big screen than actually on in the ring itself because they were just all over the place. I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to watch it up there because it's easier that way.
Okay.
I won't get whiplash. Takeshita defeats
Ricochet.
Thank you, Ricochet to retain his title. Then we move on to Swerve Strickland versus Bobby Lashley. You would think a man Lashley's size would make easy work of Strickland. Not the case. Both of these men went at it tooth and nail, and surprisingly, neither one of them bled, which is shocking.
Really?
Yeah, because the last time we saw, last three matches last storyline that Strickland had with Hangman, he had his gorilla ripped out, he had his forehead ripped open, fucking Hangman was drinking his blood, which was disgusting.
Staples were used.
He stuck a Novocaine needle in his mouth and let it dangling.
And left the needle. Yeah.
And left it dangling. Thank God they had a DMD on staff there, so they know how to do it properly. But again, you would think, okay, just Bobby Lashley is just a brute, and if he wanted to, he could have squashed anybody in like 5 seconds. Again, not the case. Lashley, yes, did dominate early, but Strickland ended up, he picked his spots. He's got his moments in. It went back and forth. Unfortunately, if you're a Strickland fan, he did not pick up the victory. Lashley went over. Then the rest of the Hurt Syndicate came in, and they beat the crap out of everybody. They threw Nana in the ring, and they beat up Nana again. And like, Nana, no, too bad. And then we had the main event, which I think should have been Garcia versus
which
Ospreay,
you've made perfectly clear.
Yeah, anyway, it's Moxley versus Orange Cassidy.
Okay.
Now Moxley has his Death Riders, and Cassidy is just himself because he's supposed to be taking on the mantle of I'm gonna save AEW from Moxley. Even when this was announced, I was like, Moxley's going over. A, because he has all the momentum on his side. B, I don't see Cassidy's character being that character to carry the World Heavyweight Championship. You need a certain type of flair and energy, and you need to move around with it. I'm not putting the knock on Cassidy. I think he's an amazing talent, amazing performer.
He's just not there yet.
Yeah, I mean, like his promos is like, whatever.
I'm Orange Cassidy. I don't have a.
Yeah.
Catchphrase.
Yeah, and my favorite thing is his pyro is just one lone sparkler going up. No, really,
It's like the Gilbert thing.
It is. It's just one lone sparkler, and it's awesome.
It's like, remember, he's from wherever.
Wing, whatever. Yeah, so it's like, his laissez-faire attitude works, does not work if he's the heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
Okay? Cassidy came flying out of the gate, beating the crap out of Moxley. Now, again, you shake Moxley's hand, it's like Ric Flair. He bleeds, no problem. But, and this was the case, he did not bleed at all during the match.
Yeah.
And it was Orange Cassidy. We had a blood orange chant going. He was soaked. Again, a very entertaining match. Moxley ended up going over.
Okay.
The rest of the Death Riders came out. Other people from the back came out to help Cassidy. It goes back and forth. They cut to a segment outside where they were going into their pickup truck, and just as they're about to get to it, a car smashes into the front of the truck. So, of course, what do? You steal an Escalade. No, really. Claudio, he goes, over here. Valet grabs a set of keys. Just happened to be for the Escalade parked right there, convenient. They all get in, and they take off. And who's driving the other car? Darby Allin. Because Moxley was the one who beat Allin to take his spot to fight Danielson at Wrestle Dream in Seattle, where Moxley won the championship. So now it's supposed to set up this whole big angle, Moxley versus Allin. Again, I don't see Allin winning the big one just yet because his style is, I'm going to just let you beat the crap out of me until you get tired. I'm going to fling my body at you.
Oh, Rocky.
At least Rocky threw punches. This guy's like, and he just gets the crap beat out of him. And then the other guy is just so tired. He goes, I'm going to hit you with the most devastating move, the small package. And once you three, and that's it.
Hits him with a damn skateboard.
Or hits him with a skateboard. But that's how it ended. All in all, beginning to end, the only thing I would say was the meh part was the champagne celebration. Other than that, I would give this a solid A pay-per-view. And, a lot of people would, if you go to any of the wrestling pages on, like, Facebook, people are like, oh, my God, look at this. No, AEW doesn't get any crowds. I was in the crowd. The entire place was almost sold out. There was sections behind the stage, obviously, were being sold. And there was one section to my left where there were some seats that were empty only because they had 2 hard cams there.
Okay.
Other than that...
Now, what section were you in?
I was in section 204.
Okay. That's not
I was in
bad.
section 2. No, we were great seats.
Still not bad.
No, I actually sat section 205 the week before for Iron Maiden. And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
But this place was to the rafters. Even like the top seats, people were all around it. So anybody who says, oh, AEW can't sell out, they're full of crap.
Okay. So now that we went through AEW, Jimmy, you want to talk about the SNL movie? Because I know you wanted to talk about it. It's available at least for like streaming on Prime, where it's a rental.
It's good.
I didn't get a chance to watch it yet. So,
Well, two things for Prime I'll say, but Saturday night, done by Jason Reitman. I'll tell you, went through Toronto, went through Colorado's film festival. Very high praise. It's basically October 11th, 1975. Again, but 90 minutes before the show airs. And in that 90 minutes, you would be amazed at all the crap that can happen in 90 minutes, ranging from lights falling from the ceiling, signing John Belushi, basically threatening to put Carson on over this and canceling it. You had everybody all over the place, and it's basically showing Lorne Michaels gelling this together and keeping it together for over 50 years and everything, and it's amazing. It's amazing what Ivan basically gave us Jason now, and he gave a really good performance with everybody there. And I mean, it's you wouldn't believe, you keep forgetting who was in the back, who was special guests, who was like the side shows and everything. So just amazing. And another thing on Prime, just to for the sports fans out there, there's a 5-part documentary out. It's called Game 7. And Mike would like this one because the 5th part is one of the greatest Game 7s in New York history. 1994. The Garden.
Triple overtime.
No. Rangers. Canucks. The last game. That's part 5. They go in between having the Oilers, Flyers. They had as they call it, the greatest game in Chicago history was played in Cleveland in 2016. They had the Yankees in Boston. They had basically they showed Dallas and San Antonio. They should all different varieties. So if you're interested, if you're a sports fan, Game 7, very good to watch on Prime.
All right. Now, Netflix gave us a bunch of shit while we were in between episodes, and Cobra Kai dropped at the same time, well, a few hours before the Tyson Paul fight, which now that entire card was a decent card, at least in theory.
On paper, it looked great.
Yeah.
Yep.
On paper, which paper's where a lot of this is going to fall apart. Because Netflix couldn't handle the streaming platform alone because they're used to streaming, not live streaming.
Yeah.
So there were so many glitches. I wanted my money back for paying for Netflix for this fight alone, which I'm paying for Netflix anyway. But
See, I don't
sorry.
pay for Netflix. I don't pay for Disney.
Yeah, the first first fight, it was short.
Yeah.
What was it, 6 rounds?
Yeah.
Yep.
Couldn't even tell you who was in the fight. Didn't care. The second fight,
That was a much better fight.
It was
I came in for the second fight.
it was a better fight, but I was like, Mexican fighter versus Mexican fighter.
Luchadors.
Yeah, they put on a good match, but at the same time, their fight was just, it was long.
Yeah.
And now the girls had their fight afterwards, and Taylor Serrano too. It was worth it if you got to see it.
Yeah.
Because
There was blood.
yes, and there was also a lot of freezing going on every few minutes.
Yeah, just when you get into it, you're starting to follow. Like, okay, it's fucking froze again.
Yeah, so you either had to restart, or you're waiting, or you had to roll back, try to roll forward again and go back live. Now, this is not a good sign for January 6th when Raw moves.
Yeah.
And there's supposed to be a 3-hour format again. Well, no, Raw is not the only one that's 3 hours.
Oh, wait, there's more.
SmackDown's also going to be 3 hours.
On Friday.
Yeah. So Friday Night SmackDown is going to go to a 3-hour format on USA. They're really
Yes.
struggling. Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
that's the answer.
But
It's 3 hours is too damn long.
the thing is, though, the pacing, they figured out the pacing for 3 hours. The 2 hours, they've been a little struggling.
Yeah, it's an hour and a half of promos and 15 minutes of wrestling.
No, they're like trying to really squeeze everything in, and unfortunately, you can't really do that. But in the meantime, though, we'll see how that one works on January 6th, and we'll definitely cover that. But the fact that the Tyson Paul fight had so many issues throughout, and then the aftermath.
I want to know, what the hell up with Tyson biting his gloves? Were they falling off? Were they too loose? What the fuck was he doing?
He was restraining himself because you find out later on that because Jake Paul's the promoter, in the contracts that were signed, Tyson wasn't allowed to uppercut, and he was being paid on a sliding scale. So if he wanted to make the full 20 mil, he needed it to go all 8 rounds. And I'm sorry, but you know what? This was an embarrassment.
Why, if you're Tyson,
Yeah.
why would you
20
sign,
mil.
I don't care.
He's
you
in
have
trouble.
somebody.
He
You
ne-
have somebody talking shit about you. You are Iron Mike Tyson. You are the baddest man on the planet, and they're telling you
He's also a 57-year-old man
Right.
who has bills that need to get paid.
yes.
And
but to say it's like giving somebody like in a gunfight.
But-
Okay, you know what? I'm going to give you blanks.
yeah, but you have to remember too, what's one of the major issues? he went and he didn't have a Don King in his corner like he used to, where he would have been guaranteed a lot more money. This fight was a huge draw for what it was. But this was now going to prove once and for all that Jake Paul is a carnival sideshow act.
Oh,
he is not an actual legitimate boxer.
No.
I don't care what he tries to promote, what he tries to say. He is, because he was the promoter and he had final say for the judges decision. He was the one that had the approval for it. So I'm sorry, but when you're making money off of all the other fights because you're promoting this entire event, and now you're also the promoter who's in the fight for the main event.
There's no way you're not going over.
No,
you're not going to stack it in. You're stacking it in your favor.
This was not even WWE, AEW predetermined. This was, I'm tying Mike Tyson's hands because I already know I'm going to get knocked out. Yeah. Because I can't stand up to a 57-year-old man who's going to beat the hell out of me. And I'm sorry, but as a fan of Mike Tyson's, I am embarrassed for Mike Tyson for taking this fight. And I still like Mike Tyson. Nothing against the guy. You can never take away what he's done in his career.
No, without a doubt.
However, this is a stain on his actual legacy. Yeah. Because now you took a carnival act.
And you put him over.
Yeah, this is what that was. And now I just saw last night, scrolling through TikTok, there was an advertisement for some liquid shampoo that Jake Paul was promoting, and I was like, oh, so that's what that logo was that was on his gear during the fight. He's pouring the shampoo on the wet grass in the rain and goes and does like a slip and slide saying how great it smells. I'm sorry, if it has Jake Paul attached, I have nothing but contempt for it. I will not do it. It is a gimmick. It is a carnival sideshow shill.
On the side effects of that. Well, you said about the buffering and everything.
Yep.
There's one man to sue streaming service for $50 million. But wait, there's more.
Of course. Can't blame him.
Nope. Tyson and Paul, Taylor and Serrano have all been suspended by the Texas Athletic League.
For embarrassment?
For rig fights.
Yep.
You can't make this up.
Now, I told you before.
Yeah.
What's his name? Rampage.
Oh, yeah.
Put out a tweet on X or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And he was like,
It's still Twitter.
Okay.
I don't care what Elania wants to call it because
Melania?
Elania.
Anyway.
Oh yeah, her too.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was like, we're gonna try to find it, but Rampage was like, you know what? You better stop talking about MMA fighters, like MMA royalty. He called them. He goes, I'll fight you. He goes, no money, no weight class. He goes, let's see what's going to happen then. And Rampage will literally beat the shit out of that man.
Yeah.
As long as there's no stipulations.
Well, that's what he said. He goes,
he'll fight
class,
him.
I'll do it for free.
And that's the thing.
Beat the shit out of him.
But Paul won't do it because Paul won't do anything for free.
He's a pretty boy.
No. Rampage said he'll fight for free.
No. Yeah. But
so Paul can make money on it. Rampage is saying, I'll fight for free. I just want to kick your ass because you're taking something that Rampage likes.
But he's not going to do it because why? It needs to be rigged.
No, without a doubt.
When you rig a fight against Mike Tyson, you knew
some serious. Paul.
He knew he was not going to make it past round one. Because let's be honest, when you saw the first round in that fight, Tyson went and took one swing. And Paul looked like he was terrified.
Paul shit his pants.
Yeah, so I don't want to hear that, Paul he's such a good fighter. No, what? He's finally now learning the fundamentals? Guess what? You're a carnival sideshow act. I will call Jake Paul out. I'll call Logan Paul out for selling the most disgusting drink ever, Prime, and ruining the WWE's ring because the fact that we have to see the Prime logo in the ring, because let's get overhead shots now so we can see the prime bottle, because he's got to promote.
No, you don't.
This is a hustle.
I still like when they use it as a weapon.
Oh,
The whole place erupts.
I wish they would use it more as a weapon, because basically you're just throwing piss in someone's face.
Even the big...
Listen, the fact is that the Paul brothers are the biggest con artists. Are they athletic? Yes. I will not take anything away from them.
Agreed.
That they have some amazing athletic prowess. However, they are con artists. They are scammers, and they have been going and bleeding money from parents because their kids have fallen for this nonsense. Now, Logan's gone, and he's fought in WWE, and we know it's predetermined.
Yeah.
But has he put on some great matches?
Yes.
Yes. Because the other people have been carrying him. Because he may be able to pull off some interesting moves, but I'm sorry.
He can't carry a match.
He is not going to be the one carrying that match. They should have never put the United States title on him
The only
at
reason they
all.
did that was to help promote the Tyson fight.
Yeah. But the problem was, different Paul.
Yeah. No, but
Yeah.
now you say, okay,
Well,
his
what-
brothers is champion at
Oh, yeah.
WWE. That will carry over, because now, I'm a champion. I can't wait for my brother to
Yeah.
kick Tyson's ass.
And guess what? Now we know it was all a con.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the thing. Netflix gave us a rigged fight. At least we know with WWE, we're watching a show.
Right.
We know that, yes, there's a chance that they can get hurt because the performance is real. The moveset's real. They're doing it as safely as they can,
Right, but there
the
is
outcome
a
is
risk.
predetermined.
Right.
There will be a risk.
Yes.
But when you go and you have a Tyson-Paul fight or any Paul
Where
fight,
you're expecting it to be 100%, I don't know what's going to happen, but then
Yeah.
then you hear later on, he can't uppercut.
we're literally tying Mike Tyson's hands. Now, granted, yes, Tyson did used to bite his gloves, but he used to do that to restrain himself, which that's the thing that they didn't talk about during the commentary. They're like, yeah, he did this all the time back in the day. Yeah, you gave him an ill-fitting mouth guard, and he's going and he's having to try to restrain himself. I'm sorry, but there's no way that a 57-year-old Mike Tyson wasn't going to knock out Jake Paul.
And not for nothing, even getting to the commentary. All right, Rosie, I didn't mind. Roy Jones, but Mauro Ranallo was so flat.
Yeah,
It was so
the
bad.
commentary.
And even when they took a break and went to the side commentators, how bad was it that Lennox Lewis had to be Evander Holyfield's translator because he had technical difficulties?
Yeah, this goes to show that they should not have been doing a live streaming event at this level. They were not prepared for it. Netflix should have already started doing smaller cards, different things to have the events on there. But they didn't, so now they're taking heat for not having a solid event where you could count on actually watching it.
What are people going to say? Oh, they did Lucha Underground. Yeah, but Robert Rodriguez and Mark Burnett taped it beforehand.
It was all taped.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you tape something, you're replaying it.
Yep.
It's not the same as doing a live event.
Right.
Let's face it. We know Peacock's had issues with their stuff because they've been streaming live, but they've got a better grasp on how to do it. Any of the other streaming platforms that have been showing
Even
any
Max
sports
that does sports.
Yeah, Max is doing sports. You figure Hulu has sports.
Prime has sports.
They all are doing sports, and now Netflix is getting in at the tail end, and they didn't learn how to do it because they didn't figure it out beforehand.
I mean, you figure with the amount of money Netflix has, they could have had people come over from Peacock, Max.
They would have hired the right
They would
people.
have hired the right people and say, hey, guys, you know what?
Etc.
This is what we're doing. What should we be expecting?
Yeah.
You know, and then they ain't hurting for money. What should we be expecting? Oh, expect A, B, C, and D, but E can also happen. Okay.
And that's the
But they
problem.
didn't do that.
No, they didn't. And that's part of the problem. And now, because I have to get off the topic because the
You're going to pop a blood vessel in your forehead. I can
Oh,
see it.
God.
yeah,
Blood all
I am
over.
that angry about the Tyson Paul fight. But then they buried Cobra Kai, because season 6, part 2 of Cobra Kai comes out the same day.
Shit.
Which that was actually amazing and worth it.
Yep.
Now, watching that, I knew we were going right into the Sekai Tekai tournament because they would hyped it up for the whole first half of season 6, that's where they were going because that's how season 5 ended.
Season 6, second half, that's it? Oh, they're doing 7.
No. That's season 6, part 3, because they left off with a to be continued.
Of course they did.
But no.
But weren't they supposed to be wrapping it all up this season?
Yeah. I have a funny feeling because they're not telling us the date wise. Because there's not a Cobra Kai, a Karate Kid movie coming out with
reboot?
No, this is one with Machio and Jackie Chan, and I think Jaden Smith as well.
God, why?
So they're doing a new Karate Kid. Well, you know what? Jaden Smith wasn't doing karate anyway. He was doing kung fu. So that movie should have been called The Kung Fu Kid.
Yeah, but that wouldn't have made any sense, and then you wouldn't have had...
Well, no, you just weren't tying it in to a pre-existing franchise,
right.
Which, guess what? People would have went to go see a Jackie Chan movie called The Kung Fu Kid.
Without a doubt. But you wanted to... Because, again, marketing, Cobra Kai is hot. You want to tie it into that.
And also that Will Smith bought the rights so that this way he could go and have his kid do another movie.
I'd rather see Justice Smith than that prick.
I'd rather see Will Smith walk out onto the screen, apologize, and never show his face again.
Yeah, that never will happen.
Because, frankly, I don't want to see him again. I'm not interested in his stuff. He's picked horrible projects for the longest time. The only thing I can say is that the new Fresh Prince series that they've been doing has been amazing because they changed the tone. It's an actual darker tone.
Yeah.
So it works.
Yeah.
But Cobra Kai, they got for this season some amazing martial arts talent in this season.
They even got Britt Baker to come in for 2 episodes.
Yep. So
And I don't know if you realize it. You know who Gunther is?
no.
You ready?
Go ahead.
The dentist Stenson from Mighty Ducks 2.
Okay.
Bob Stenson,
Yeah, that makes sense.
the Iceland coach. I'm looking,
Yeah.
I'm like, who is this freaking...
You know what? I didn't look it up, but he did look so familiar,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that makes sense. But that's the thing. It's like we're watching Cobra Kai, and yes, it's got the teen drama stuff in there and everything because you've got the relationships going on, but the tournament took so much to get this thing up and going, and now it's different styles.
Right.
So now you've got other schools of martial arts from all over the world for the Sekai Tekai
Brazil,
tournament.
Ireland.
Yeah, as opposed to just where we've just been seeing Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do.
Which, you know what? It's natural evolution. You start off with just those two. Now we're going to throw other stuff into the mix to keep people interested.
And they did a phenomenal job. And the girl, Zara, oh, she is absolutely phenomenal.
This is Zara.
And, yeah, doing the social media influencer, but she's a legit martial artist.
Yeah.
And she was phenomenal. And she's actually a good actor. So I was like, you know what? This kid is impressing me because I've heard she wants to do for martial arts what Bruce Lee did. So she wants to take it a step up and add more to it. So
okay.
She wants to be another Cynthia. Oh, I can't think of her.
Cynthia Rothrock.
Yup.
No, Cynthia Rothrock. I think this girl Zara is actually leaps and bounds above Cynthia Rothrock.
Who else would she fit? Not Michelle. Maybe not Michelle Yeoh. No, maybe somebody else.
No, she is in a class of her own. It's not like back in the day when it was like, oh, here's a bunch of female martial artists and we're throwing them into the other martial arts franchises. You know,
she can hold her own in her own franchise.
Oh yeah, I could see her actually going and eventually having like her own version of any one of the martial arts movies. Just pick one and have her do a female version of it, and it would pretty much work because she's that good. And I mean, the physical talent that she had, I was completely blown away. Now, Johnny's story of going and having him and Miguel leaving the tournament early to go because Carmen was there was an issue with the baby, and they get to go right back. And the fact that now they've stepped up, they went and they brought in Kenny, they brought him back. And
how good was Kenny in that just one shot?
Oh, yeah.
He took out 3 people in one shot.
Yeah, that was the thing. And then they have that all-out brawl.
Yeah.
Which the all-out brawl...
That reminded me in the beginning of Karate Kid 2. I don't know why. That's what popped in my head when I was watching it.
No, this was beyond, because this was everyone in the tournament. The tournament basically becomes...
a free-for-all.
It really was. Because not only was it the students, the teachers are now all fighting. What was it? The team was the Ireland's team.
Yeah.
That basically, of course, it's Ireland's martial arts team that decides they're going to just.
They fight with Guinness in their hands?
No, they actually got eliminated because they found out that some of their members.
No, that was the Russians.
It was a Russian team.
The Russian team. That was Britt Baker's Oksana.
Yeah. Yeah, so the Russian team basically goes and they legitimately went. They're like, yeah, your guys are on enhancing substances.
Yeah.
So it was like, yeah, you're disqualified, because Cobra Kai was actually knocked out of the tournament and then got put back in because of the disqualification. And then you see everyone fighting each other. And of course, the biggest twist, though, was finding out Silver's back. We thought he was locked up. No, he got out.
On technicality.
Yeah, and he was behind everything, stayed in the shadows, has Daniel locked in a dog cage, and they even brought back some of the guys, one or two of them from one? Yeah, they bring back one of the guys that was with Barnes.
I remember his friend.
Yeah,
Nick or something like that.
Well, it was one of them, because remember he had two of them.
Yeah. So this is the one, he's really a mellow guy.
Yeah, no, this one it was like he came in, he ends up locking Daniel in a dog cage. It was really funny to see Machio trapped in a dog cage. There's something about like Machio. I find it very difficult to believe him as a fighter.
Yeah.
He just comes off as extremely uncoordinated.
He's pony boy.
Oh yeah.
Pony boy.
He's pony boy.
Yeah. So the fact
golden pony boy.
Yeah. So the fact that he went and he was there, I was just like, it's like he just isn't believable in an actual fight sequence. But Zapka, completely believable.
Yeah.
Zapka looks like he could kick the shit out of you. And I gotta say, the little mini romance that they had between what was it? The two,
Tansei? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm blanking on the names, but no, the female Cobra Kai instructor and the dude from Karate Kid 2. Seeing the two of them they're like fighting in a bar, like fighting each other, and then they end up sleeping together.
Well, that's what happens.
Oh yeah.
You follow 80s logic. That's the only they fight in a bar. 80s logic. Yep. They go to bed together.
It has to be 80s logic.
80s logic.
Yeah. Man. Come on, Jimmy. You know you got it.
Just like that line in
Chosen. Yeah.
Chosen. Just like that line in Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire when they were talking about the containment unit.
It was the 80s. We didn't think about things like
80s.
that.
Like, didn't you think you were out of room? He goes, no, it was the 80s. And everybody in the theater went, yeah.
Yeah. So we had that going on, and then in the final fight, because Kris he's been like holding around that little knife that he got.
Please don't play with weapons.
Yeah. So the Cobra Kai leader of their team ends up picking up the blade and gets stabbed.
Kills himself.
I don't know if he's dead or not.
I think so.
They left him bleeding out, but you never know what. Next scene, he could be bleeding out right next to an ER, so you never know.
And that's the thing. They stopped everything. Like, once he got stabbed, the entire fight all stopped. And they cut the feed because the Miyagi-Do students were all watching it at, like, the LaRusso home. Yeah. So it was like, all right, and then it's coming, it's like coming soon, but not telling us a date.
So do you think it could be tied into that new Karate Kid movie coming out?
I think that it's part of the universe. They're expanding it, and I believe that we'll see it right before the movie's going to drop.
And the crazy thing was, if you remember, he kept wondering why he had that bloody captain's thing.
Yeah.
And he gets it from Silva. It's like, consider this a gift. And no matter what, even Gunther said, this is legit.
Yeah, it was
won by
because
death.
Miyagi went and fought in the tournament, and there was a death that Miyagi must have caused.
Yeah.
So
Right.
his fight ended with a death, and that was when the tournament was a lot more brutal.
Yeah.
So, I believe they're going to hold off because this isn't going to be like what they've done in the past, where with like Stranger Things season 4, where they gave you 5 episodes and then they gave you the last 2, and the last one was like a 2-hour long episode.
Yeah.
So, and that was only like a couple weeks later. I don't see them doing it.
The problem with what jumping topics right now with Stranger Things, I think they waited too long. I think when it comes back, people are going to be like, yeah.
Well,
I can't wait for it. I
want to see what happens, but
Everybody
I
does.
think a lot of people are going to be like, meh.
A lot of people have
And
a
that's-
lot of different opinions and answers. What can happen now?
Well, there's also supposed to be a spin-off show that they talked about doing, but it's like in that universe, just not in that town, with those kids.
Right.
Which, I mean, let's face it, there were other kids that got away from the place that have like the psychic
down.
abilities. Not the upside.
Yeah.
From the
He.
remember
I thought he killed them all. Everybody but 11.
Nope, because remember there was the other girl that was there at the beginning. What was it? Season 3.
Yeah.
When 11 ends up in the city, and she joins up with the group of like the punk kids.
I've watched the seasons, but
it's been so long,
Right.
and that's the thing. I
Everybody's
wish
gotta
we could
refresh.
talk about like Stranger Things, but we don't have a new season, so Duffer Brothers stopped delaying everything. And I get it, everybody's schedules are crazy, but this has been far too long.
Now, I want to know what this, because, again, at the end of the last episode of the last season, or the first part of whatever season, you see, like, the Upside Down kind of like invading. You see the sky all turning red and everything.
That was the last episode.
Right. And it's supposed to be, okay, everything's supposed to be going to hell. And then you have this ridiculously long break. Everybody's aged up now. How are you going to explain it?
Well, the good thing is the kids at that point were already at an age where they shouldn't be aging that much to make it too much of a difference. Jimmy.
Whoop, sorry. Thought I had it low.
No, you didn't. That's why we
again,
keep our phones on silent.
I want to see how, that's more than anything, I want to see how they handle that.
Yeah, well, we'll find out when
They decide to let it go.
Eventually in 2027 when it comes out.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
that
saying,
and
27?
No, I'm just
Oh,
guessing.
okay. I'm like, what the
It's supposed to come out next year.
It was supposed to come out this year.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
it got pushed back to next year.
It's also like the
So
Spider-Man.
27 might be a good year.
Yeah, I'm just guessing at this point.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
Because they've also said that Sony with the Spider-Verse is now releasing in 2027 now.
Yeah, because they threw out a bunch of the stuff for it. They're reshooting for Captain America Brave New World because they got some reactions that they didn't like, so they got to do reshoots. I'm like, oh, are you putting the mustache on Red Hulk? Because it wasn't there before, because you have Harrison Ford, and Harrison Ford didn't have the mustache. So I don't know what they're doing.
What is up with these movies and superhero movies with mustaches? You had Henry Cavill digital lip that looked like crap, and now you're doing this with Harrison Ford. Tell Harrison Ford, grow the fucking mustache.
Here's the thing, though. Henry Cavill, he had the mustache for a different role.
Right. He went out for a different role, but then they told him when Whedon had it, I want to redo the entire movie.
That's the problem.
They said, no, you can't shave.
That was Whedon's fault.
That was Whedon's fault. I'm not saying it was Cavill's. I'm just saying.
But to digitally remove the mustache,
it looked ridiculous.
Of course, it was terrible. But
even before they said it was digitally removed, you're looking at it like something doesn't look right.
Oh yeah, but now this is a whole different thing, because Harrison Ford makes a reference in the trailer that they made him get rid of the mustache because now he's the president.
Okay.
So as going from General Thunderbolt Ross to President Ross,
okay,
you know, it made sense.
Clean shaven.
But the crazy thing is this: you look at Thunderbolt Ross in the comics, he has the mustache, and he still turns into Red Hulk without the mustache.
Well,
and that's kind.
There were times when he had the mustache when he did turn into Red Hulk. So.
I honestly, when Hulk became Maestro, he had the full beard. So
which there's talk about, which a rumor saying that they're going to bring in Ed Norton back to play Hulk, but as the Maestro.
I could see him being Maestro.
I could see it. However, I have a problem with it because he didn't like the way that the last Hulk movie came out. So why would he come back when he made sure he wasn't promoting the movie? So that's why it's like some of them are just straight up rumors.
Throw a shit ton of money at him because at the time when Ed Norton's Hulk came out, MCU wasn't really it wasn't the powerhouse it is now.
No.
Now MCU is the standard for superhero movies, and Ed Norton's like, you know what, guys, I'll come back to you.
And now
let's see if Eric Bana can come back.
What were some of the other stories?
Moon Knight season 2. Canceled.
Bullshit.
I couldn't get into it.
I loved Moon Knight.
I tried. I tried. I couldn't get into it.
You know what? I love the fact, like, they left it off too good because I liked the multiple personalities.
Yeah.
I liked the fact that he was as brutal as he was. They didn't go into it enough as far as I was concerned. But having that element of the gods and, like, the astral world with the gods, and then knowing, like, you've got the Panther god. It's like you have all these different pantheons that you can hit, especially after Thor, Love and Thunder, seeing all the other gods.
All the other gods.
Yeah. So it's like having avatars for these other gods. Why can't we? No, this should have been no problem.
Wiccan Series reportedly in the works.
Makes sense.
Avenger Doomsday will officially begin filming spring next year.
Yep.
I heard they're bringing back Kang.
No. Kang is still being left out because now all of a sudden Jonathan Major's ex decided she wants to drop the charges. She's now taking it back, even though it was almost pretty much clear she started the fight, he was defending himself, and yet he took the abuse. But the fan reaction was so bad that, okay, you know what? Listen, I'm not for any kind of beating on a woman for any reason. Defending yourself, stopping her from hitting you is a whole different ball game. Yeah. But once he hit her back,
that's it.
That's it. That's why Ray Rice is out of the NFL.
Granted, the way I was raised, you never put your hand on a woman. If the woman is attacking you,
you can stop her.
You can stop her. But again, you see some of these women out there. They're stronger than some of the men. If they throw a punch at you, they can take a punch. I'm not saying hit the women, but I'm saying if a woman is throwing a punch at you and you're just in that mindset where if someone's swinging at me, I'm swinging back. Okay, then it comes down to, okay, you're the one who started with him.
It's self-defense.
Yeah. And if someone is attacking me, I'm going to make sure that person is no longer attacking me. How do I do that? I put them on their ass.
Yeah, and that's the thing. His whole legal issues caused the problem, and then the bad fan reaction. So he ended up not coming out good which is why Ant-Man and the Wasp isn't getting another movie because they used Kang.
They used Kang. Same thing with Moon Knight. Moon Knight was supposed to use Kang. Loki.
Well, Moon Knight made sure they didn't use Kang.
Yeah, because that's supposed to be Ramatut.
Yeah, but Loki and they used Kang, but they had him in one of his different variations. So it worked. Yeah. And now it's like, okay, it's done. So they were able to wipe that character out.
With Loki, it wasn't he wasn't really the focal point.
Yeah,
it was following.
It was
Loki and what's his
Sylvie.
name? Sylvie. And what's his name's character?
No. He means Mobius.
Vision Quest is also being filming next year, and it's going to be a white Vision.
White Vision.
Well, yeah,
that's how we ended because the other one was destroyed.
Yeah.
Man, this is recreated version of Vision.
Denzel in his final role,
Which we mentioned that.
will be in Black Panther 3.
Yeah, we mentioned that last episode.
But he's retiring?
Yeah,
Yep.
he said he's going to be in Black Panther 3. After that, he's retiring. But let's see how well that retirement goes, because
Will he do a Beatty retirement, or will he?
No, but like you take a look, it's the easiest comparison right now.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey, right after he did Sonic 2, said he was retired from acting. Here he is in Sonic 3, and he's going to be playing Eggman again. So,
Well, a lot of, I mean,
but I can't blame him, because he's getting an opportunity to tell one of the great Sonic stories from the games.
Yeah.
And he's getting Shadow the Hedgehog, which is being voiced by none other than Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
right. And when you think about it, these guys who's been in the spotlight all this time, they say, "Oh, I'm going to retire." You get so used to being in the spotlight, having people talk about you. Now, all of a sudden, no one's talking about you anymore.
Yeah.
It's going to be like, okay, you know what? I'm bored.
But
I want to go do
I'm
something.
still, like you, I agree on that. But like I said, look at Beatty. Beatty retired. Beatty has not been back since.
Bullworth.
No, after Bullworth, he retired.
He retired.
Yeah, he hasn't been around since Bullworth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What he did was, though, producing, directing.
Right.
He moved on to a different facet.
He's behind
which
his cameras.
anyone can
see-
do.
I can see Denzel moving on to directing.
Yeah.
I don't see Carey moving on to directing, because I don't see him being that type of person. He needs to be in
No,
front
but
of the
he-
More
camera.
of a writing role.
No, but he's also become he's a very talented artist. He sells his artwork.
Right.
So he has other venues that he can go and still keep himself out there. So I don't think it's so much of he's bored. I think it was, hey, we gave you an opportunity for something that how are you going to pass this up?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Plus boatloads of money. Robert Downey Jr.
That helps too.
Yep.
Boatloads of money.
Yeah, but he never said he was retiring.
No,
Junior.
Junior was like, I'm done with the MCU, and
He said,
now
I'm
it's
done
like,
with Tony Stark, but
Yeah.
now he's playing.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, here's a twist. Let's play the bad guy. Okay.
Yeah.
And how much money?
Oh, please.
Man.
Along
money.
with, he made sure that the Russo brothers have to direct.
Yes.
Yep.
Which, you know what?
Which is a
That
smart
makes
call.
sense.
Yeah.
Because you stick with the winning formula.
Yep. So now, what else we got?
Sony scrapped most of the Beyond Spider-Verse, now releasing in 2027 now.
Yep.
Great. Everybody's going to be pissed. The Council of Reed is being discussed to appear in Secret Wars, which is not 1, not 2, but 3 of the Reed Richards, Johann Gruff, John
Krasinski.
Krasinski, and Miles Teller. Yes, Miles Teller. Out of anybody.
From Fan Four Stick.
Josh Brolin is reportedly set to return in Secret Wars.
Yep. Now, these are rumors, so.
Noel,
Take him with a
God
grain of salt.
Symbiotes,
Yep.
will be the villain in Spider-Man 4.
Which I still have to see Venom 3.
I have to see that too.
That's the movie that's like, let's wait for streaming, because
Yeah.
I'm not paying to see this one in the theaters.
Marvel's X-Men reboot reportedly will not include Wolverine. Marvel wants Daredevil and Moon Knight to team up in the future. The Young Adventures film will now be a TV series titled Champions. Great. But where's Miles?
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
What was it? One of the talks that they said with Sony was that, what was it? Tom Holland wants to be able to introduce Miles Morales. So he wants to pay it forward. So if he's going to help introduce Miles Morales, I'm all for it.
Yep.
The thing is, like, I've always said, like, when it comes to these characters, don't start repackaging the same character. So that's why I liked when they did the animated Ultimate Spider-Man, where they brought in Miles and they called him Kid Arachnid.
Yeah.
They gave him a different name. It wasn't, hey, here's Spider-Man and Spider-Man.
right.
I'm like, now
Tell
you're going to
them apart.
confuse the
Right.
shit out of people.
Yeah.
So give them a different name. It works better that way, even if they have the same power set.
Right.
You know, and that's the thing. One thing somebody pointed out was, if you go back and you watch all of the Spider-Man movies and you go back to the first one.
The Tobey Maguire.
Yep, when they're in the lab and they're talking about how they merged all the different spiders' abilities. One of them was the camouflage. Mm-hmm. And what's one of the powers that he does that he doesn't have?
Oh, he doesn't have camouflage.
Peter doesn't have camouflage, but Miles does.
Right.
So it can work because they've upped it. They changed certain things around. But that's why Gwen Stacy's not Spider. She's not really Spider-Girl. She's Ghost Spider. So it's just a matter of changing the name of the character because you're changing the costume. It's not like everyone's wearing the exact same costume. So it's just a matter of changing things over, but paying it forward for having Peter Parker bring in Miles Morales, I think would make a lot of sense to then add him later into, because it's a matter of, does Sony want to focus only on Peter Parker, or are they willing to keep going and let Miles Morales be the next generation?
I mean, if they want to continue to tell new Spider-Man films, I think that would be the way to do it. Instead of just redoing Spider-Man over and over again.
It would, however, the question is money.
Right.
Because do they want to let Marvel still be able to just use, okay, we're going to still be able to control over at Sony Peter Parker, and we'll work with you on that one, but we'll give you Miles so you can use Miles Morales with the rest of like the Young Avengers and everything. Yeah. So it all depends on how this all works out, which we won't know until Spider-Man 4.
Yeah. Right.
So, which that one's probably what, 2026, 2027?
Give or take. And also,
I can just pretty much say 2027 and just as a safe hedge bet.
That's it, safety net. There's also been rumors that Robert Pattinson has been seen talking to Marvel executives.
No.
Yeah.
I don't.
The Batman.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not a fan of the Batman. I told you last episode that the Penguin just is not for me. I don't particularly like this mobster style. Mike, what was your opinion? Because you weren't here last episode for the Penguin. Because we only did the first 3 episodes. Jimmy went the full scale. I fell asleep during it.
It's an interesting take because when you think of the Penguin, you're like, okay, where's Batman showing up? But they're telling, first off, the makeup job for Colin Farrell is amazing. Mm-hmm. His portrayal as the Penguin is great. I think it's an interesting take on Batman's villains. I enjoy it. Yes, you can make the comparison to the Sopranos and Gotham, whatever you want to do, but it's showing how he came to power, how he's holding on to his power, how he's maintaining his power. It's an enjoyable show. I like it. And, I'm not looking... it makes me want to watch it, not to say, okay, when's Batman showing up? It's, okay, I want to see what happens with Penguin. I want to see what happens next.
Yeah, I didn't... like I said last episode, and Jimmy knows, I didn't care for it. I fell asleep. The pacing for me is too slow. I'm not into the mobster stories.
Okay.
When I think of Batman, I want to see also like the full range of villains. I want to see some of the fantastical stuff like Man-Bat.
Right.
I don't want to just stick with the real world stuff like we got. We already got that with Nolan's Batman trilogy.
Which happened to work.
Which worked, yes. But this, I'm not a fan.
Right.
And I legitimately fell asleep watching the episodes. And that was 3 episodes. If I go back and I continue watching it, like I said last time, it's just to complete it, but it's not something that I recommend because it's not for me. Okay. But I make it clear that it's not for me. I'm not the demographic for it because I'm not that guy that likes the mobster stuff.
Like the song goes, different strokes at different folks.
Yeah. Yep. Now, we want to hit one movie to get us into the holiday season. So, we decided to do the original Gremlins from 1984.
Yes.
Now, I had great fond memories of watching this as a kid. Yep. Now, after rewatching it, what did you guys think?
It was definitely a throwback. I was sitting there. Tell you the goddamn truth, in '84, I was like 4, 6, something like that. It kind of frightened me a little bit when the Gremlins came out. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's scary.
Well, I know I didn't see it in the theaters. I saw it like home video.
First time I saw it at my cousin's house out in Jersey, and she was like, "You want to watch the Gremlins?" I was like, "Okay," and I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
But I mean, rewatching it now, it was a good throwback. It kind of blended that little bit of horror, a little bit of Christmas. It's a Christmas Ween movie.
Yeah, it's that nice little November break
Yes.
in between getting you just finished Halloween and
just get the turkey. Let's go here. And before James showed up, we all had the end of it. And the voices. You had Michael Winslow from the Police Academy movies.
Yep.
You had Frank Welker.
Frank Megatron Welker.
And we had Peter Optimus Prime Cullen.
Along with, that we can't forget, Howie Mandel.
On TV.
Which was, yeah, so, you know, it had a great cast.
It did.
And, I mean, Jimmy, what did you think? Like, how did you feel?
I still remember watching this indoor, and I'll say it, the old Rage Twin, the memories of all the old movie theaters on Staten Island, when there were a lot of movie theaters and bowling alleys on Staten Island at the time. But this movie, it's still amazing today as it was yesterday, as I've even seen it twice in the theaters, young and even older, and just still cracking up at Rand Peltz's inventions that Mr. Work for a minute.
Yeah, you know, the dad was a great character, coming up with all these bizarre inventions, which
the smokeless ashtray,
which they did have
juicer.
that the juicers have been done. Like, it's one of those things where we're literally looking at a whole bunch of stuff that nowadays people would have already made basically the same stuff,
And they'd modify it.
yeah. So I mean, the dad was great. Phoebe Cates was every guy's 80s crush. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you know, there's the 90s crushes that everybody knows, but in the 80s, Phoebe Cates was that girl
coming
next
off
door.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh, yeah. But not even just that. It's like seeing her in a movie, it was like one of those things where she was that girl next door type, even though she kind of came off a little depressing in this one.
A little bit.
You know, she talks about the suicide rates and everything that go skyrocket through the holidays.
How her father died during Christmas.
Did you notice the town, the set for where Gremlins took place?
It's
It's the same thing from Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
Yeah,
The clock tower is there,
Yeah.
the whole little town square. It's the exact same one.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing.
Spielberg saved money.
Yeah,
Yep.
well, why
Why not?
Not.
You know, you gotta save money somewhere, so you might as well use the same town.
It's up. Why not? Okay, takes place in the winter. We're gonna do it in the summertime.
And I love the fact that the effects were practical.
Yes, I like practical effects so much better than special effects.
You know, sometimes CG will work, but this was before CG was really big.
So you had to get creative. You had to use your you had to actually think and use your
Oh, yeah.
imagination.
And they had to make that many gremlin like animatronics.
Yep.
Which they came up with some of the funniest like scenarios. The bar alone had so many weird
Was that
gremlins.
Stan Winston?
I
think it was.
I think it was Stan Winston Studios.
Stan Winston is still amazing with it.
Yeah, but let's just like really, what was one of those gremlins that stuck out for you out of this? Because for me,
When they were basically all of them sitting in the movie theater singing "Hi Ho."
see, for me, the one that always stands out is the Flasher.
Yes.
It just comes out of nowhere, just opens up the trench coat between him and then the one with the gun.
Actually, no, it wasn't Stan Winston. Christopher Wallace.
Okay.
Really?
And his company, Chris Wallace Inc., created the special effects for the 1984 film Gremlin.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
Yeah.
Wallace designed the Gremlins, including the Sweet Gizmo.
Yeah. Which is funny because at certain points, Gizmo looks really cute.
Yeah.
And then there's other moments where you kind of look at him and he looks a little rough.
Yeah, like they didn't. Yeah, like he went through the washing machine one too many times.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it looked like you could tell it was like, oh, Gizmo looks cute most of the time, and then you got those moments where it's like he looks really annoyed.
Right. Gizmo was having a bad day on set. He didn't get his latte.
Yeah.
It was after midnight. They had to follow the rules.
Which I have to say, one thing that really made me kind of laugh was the rule is you can't get them wet, right? Mm-hmm. They're in the snow.
Yeah, you're getting wet.
They're already wet. They're walking on snow. So every step should have been another, like...
Gremlin jumping out of them. Yeah.
And the fact that he jumps into the YMCA pool.
Yeah. Splat.
And then what was it? Was it Stripe or Spike?
Stripe.
Stripe.
That did what?
No, remember the leader of the Gremlins was the one with the mohawk.
Right.
And because the second one has another one with a mohawk.
Yes, but he wasn't. Remember who did the voice of the leader in the second one?
No, because
Tony Randall.
Randall.
Yeah.
He was the one with the brain. He goes, New York City, the Big Apple. The city's so nice, they had to name it twice.
Yeah, that one got a little more weird.
It got a little weird because it took place in a high-rise building, kind of had that poltergeist
We will
feeling to it.
We'll cover Gremlins 2 on another day, but I want to stick with the first one.
And still seeing a young Corey Feldman.
Yes, and Judge Reinhold was in that movie still.
Yeah, which that was another Fast Times at Ridgemont High alumni coming in there. And one of the things that was really funny is this was when Corey Feldman was still a cute kid and hadn't been overly traumatized or hasn't overly traumatized the rest of us.
Yes. Coming off that Friday the 13th film.
Yes. The Friday the 13th film was really good. But at the same time, he was also in Goonies. Yep. He's had a great career.
Well, Goonies wasn't until 86, right?
Yeah, 85? It was I think it was a
years later.
Yeah, like 2 years later.
Gremlins was 84. I think Goonies was like 86.
Yes. And he had a great career in the 80s, and now it's like nowadays, we know he's screwed up because he wants to talk about the SA abuse allegations, but never wants to say who it was. Right. And it's like, it's
either shit or get off the pot. Name names or shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah. Not only that, but we can also tell, because I know, Jimmy, you probably remember, he did an episode of Wife Swap. So they did the celebrity wife swap, and you find out that his wife, when she switches, he does Corey's Angels, where he's helping young girls get into the film industry and teaches them, and he's guiding them, but they also have to work in his band, and they have to dress in their lingerie outfits with their little wings, angel wings. Yeah. I don't know if he's still doing it.
I think that's
I would hope he stopped.
Away from like a Diddy party.
Yeah, it seemed a little cultish, if you ask me. But yeah, so but I know he's got a checkered past and very screwed up. So I can't really hold it against him too much. Yeah. But at the same time, like you said, shit or get off the pot. Yep. It's time to start naming names. It's been 30 years. Mm-hmm. If it's been 30 years, it's time to start naming names because they can't still all be as powerful in Hollywood. And if Diddy got busted and everybody else is going down,
Diddy's a couple of weeks away from having an Epstein attack.
I
have all these names. Dude, are you trying to get suicide?
They got
Diddy was found dead after a bottle of baby oil was found in his.
Listen, the thing is, they went and you figure, who did Diddy hang out with? He hung out with R. Kelly and he hung out with Jay-Z. Jay-Z is probably the next one up on the chopping block.
Yeah.
Because we're going to find out a bunch of shit that we probably already figured out.
But we didn't
we just don't talk about.
And honestly, it's scary to tell the world no.
Yeah, and I don't want to get into hip-hop news and culture because that's not my thing, and I try to avoid most of that, but I've always had a bad feeling about Diddy, especially after Biggie died. There was a lot of stuff that was going on.
People looking into that and Tupac's
murder. Well, he had a hand in both of them as far as anyone knows.
Yep.
So, I'm going to say allegedly to keep from being sued, but, we're seeing a lot of stuff that is not good.
No.
And as far as I'm concerned, I think it's time to pay the piper. Mm-hmm. So, go ahead, Jimmy, say it. You can't? You just don't want to do it?
I want to. Okay, ready? For everybody that actually has a question on hip-hop and all these cases with P. Diddy, please email us at...
No, do not email me at dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com. That's all one word, Dragoon is spelled with 2 O's. That's dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com. Do not send me questions about hip-hop culture or news, because... I will not be able to answer it. But if you'd like to tell us what your favorite movie is to get into the holiday spirit.
So it's a holiday movie, not just movie in general.
Holiday movie. Holiday, because, Gremlins falls into the category of a Christmas movie, but also a horror movie.
Do you consider, this is a big one, Die Hard.
Die Hard's a fucking we've done this before.
Yes.
We've
Both
gone
of them
over this. Die Hard and Die Hard 2 are both Christmas movies.
Yep.
Die Hard 2 is trash, but it still takes place
It
at
had
Christmas.
Some funny moments.
No one remembers it.
I do. It was fun.
I
It had
do.
some funny moments.
You're one of the few.
Because
I
there are some
think-
guest appearances in it.
Most people remember it's Die Hard 3. That they maybe remember Die Hard 4. No one remembers Die Hard 5.
No. Everybody remembers Die Hard 4 because Kevin Smith's in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Justin Long.
Just long.
But yeah, no.
Tim
So,
Oliphant.
but if you do want to go and talk and tell us what your favorite movie is to get you into the holiday season. I mean, let's face it, there's been plenty of holiday movies, and we're going to cover a few of them. We don't want to go overboard because the holiday season, it's bad enough that you're going to be inundated with
24 hours of A Christmas Story.
and Mariah Carey and 24 Hours of Elf.
And 24 hours of a just ended Christmas vacation.
Yep, because they decided, let's just keep showing the same movie on repeat. I'm sorry, but thankfully there are streaming platforms, so you don't have to sit through cable deciding they want to show the same movie for 24 hours straight. Listen, doing it for A Christmas Story was one thing. Now it's gotten a little overboard.
A little.
Because even Halloween, like they'll do 24 hours of Hocus Pocus, which
Yes.
I
don't
love.
need it.
I love Hocus Pocus.
But we don't need 24 hours.
24 hours,
of
no.
any movie is ridiculous.
No. Now, if you're going to pay me to watch the
Different
same
story. If I'm
movie,
getting paid
If
to
you're going
watch
to pay
for
me to
24
watch
hours,
the
that's
Hallmark
fine.
Network for Christmas movies,
listen, I will
do
not.
not
No.
email us at.
No. Please do not send me any Hallmark Channel movies.
Same with me.
Yeah. At the Dragoons Lair Podcast at gmail.com. That's all one word, Dragoons Lair Podcast. At where, Jimmy?
Gmail.com.
Since you got such a kick out of it, I needed to throw you a bone on that one. So with that being said, we've gone and done a lot of our holiday stuff. And I know, like, we're on our Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals. So, I'm sure you're going to find some really cool sales. I mean, granted, Black Friday sales started 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I love how it's Black
a month
Friday,
ago
but
for
it's
that.
like,
Black Friday on Monday.
yeah,
Yep.
they were already pushing
They
Black
were
Friday
doing Black
sales.
Friday in November, so let's,
Yep.
October.
Well, once October ended, it was like, let's get ready, start pushing Black Friday deals. We know that you're going to be able to find some interesting stuff if you've got a good gift idea.
Let me know, because I can use some.
Yeah, we would definitely know what people want to get for the holidays. It's not like we're going to buy you anything, but
I can put my wish list up if you guys want to check it out.
It's a 24-page Amazon wish list, everybody. You don't want to read it.
listen, we can all post on the Facebook group our wish lists if anyone would like to gift us anything. I'm not asking anyone to do that though, because money's tight. It's the holiday season, and we're not going to be those people. But
We won't say no.
no,
Yes.
if you decide.
Actually, I actually did some Black Friday shopping today, and believe it or not, I went to 4 different stores, and I was in and out of each store in under an hour.
Because
believe it.
Black Friday is not what it used to be.
Nope.
I remember working retail, and Black Friday was the day when you had to
Had to
worry.
call out.
Oh, you were, if you tried to call out, they gave you hell, because it's like, no, people were already in lines at 5 o'clock in the morning. Store doesn't open till 7, but we're going to go and we're going to have you
Yeah.
there. It was ridiculous.
There was people online on Thanksgiving night.
Oh, yeah. People would leave their homes after Thanksgiving dinner to go wait in line for the stores. But
Yep.
guess what? The internet gave us an opportunity to avoid having to put up with standing in line, because the deals will be online.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, when I worked at GameStop, we had those deals that you would get like a free gift and stuff. If people got upset if we ran out of them, they got upset if we didn't get them sent to the store. They got upset when we couldn't find them.
That got upset.
Because
Period.
they were getting upset over everything, and it was GameStop. It was understandable they were getting upset because they thought selling their games was going to get them a lot more money than it did.
No.
So, I mean, I can crap on GameStop for quite a while, and maybe we will take a day and we'll go through old job experiences and tell some horror stories. But we're not going to do that right now.
No.
Because we want to thank everyone for listening. Mike, you want to tell everybody the socials?
All right, you can hit up the Dragoon's Lair Podcast on Facebook at, oddly enough, the Dragoon's Lair Podcast. Follow us also on Instagram at, if I remember correctly, it's the Dragoon's Lair Podcast. If you want to follow me, Facebook, you can do it on Hamster Pillow Productions, which is also my Instagram page, and you can follow me, Michael Schiavo, on Facebook.
And you can also make sure, get those tickets for the Little Victory Theater.
Yes, Little Victory Theater. You can go to showtix4u.com for Holmes for the Holidays. It's a great play. Could be your last chance to go to the Little Victory Theater and see a show. So please come out and support it. It's a great show. It's a great little venue. If you do come, please tell Alberta to keep the goddamn doors open.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yep. And Jimmy, what are your socials?
You can reach me on Snapchat at JamesSI0925, all lowercase. Instagram and Threads, JamesH_the4th. Facebook, James Haynes the 4th. And TikTok, James0925, on my Facebook page. As we said, it's Cyber Monday, but there's Giving Tuesday. As everybody knows, it's that time of the year where you see little kids opening gifts, but then you have kids that don't open gifts. On my page is a link to two beautiful ladies that I've known for many years now that are collecting toys for tots. They have an Amazon wish list. If you'd like to participate, please do. They've already gotten 120 toys already. And not only that, but even on the giving, give it to organizations like anything that deals with the theater, the arts, sports, the Academies of Motion Pictures Arts with their museum. So this way you can see Dorothy's ruby red slippers and pictures of Captain America's shield, etc. at all these beautiful museums and all. Keep them going for kids to learn, because what do they say? Knowledge is power.
Yep. And you can find me, the Blue Dragoon, at Blue Dragoon 13 on Blue Skies now, because screw Twitter. You can get me on Instagram. You can find me on the YouTube channel at Blue Dragoon 13. Instagram, TikTok, got the Twitch page, Blue Dragoon 13, where you can get a link to the Discord page and join the community there. You can find me on Snapchat, Blue Dragoon 13, where I just promote the show. Really don't do anything else other than that on there, because, yeah, it's a lot of work. And you can also go and send me an email at dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com. That's all one word. Dragoon is spelled with 2 O's. That's dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com. Now, we want to thank everyone for tuning in and taking a break from the holiday stress and enjoying your time with us. And hopefully we've been a good palate cleanser for spending time with your family you don't really want to see.
We're like the sherbet. We cleaned the palate.
Yeah,
Yes.
basically, if you had to work, we feel bad for you. And, yeah, hopefully we've made your work day a little bit better, and you got to avoid talking to your coworkers that you don't want to deal with. Don't talk to those family members you don't want to deal with. You know, we try to be a nice little break and be informative and funny at the same time.
Amen.
So next time, though, make sure you tune in, because we're going to have a WWE PLE event. We'll have another show that we're going to be talking about, and we're going to be talking about another holiday movie. So with that being said, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Now get out.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.